Spanish, and we will make the questions in English. ¿Te gusta, Sam?
In English.
Sí, sí, sí.
Okay. Where you want? Okay. Is he English?
No, yes, he's I know English.
But she speaks English and he's Mexican. And he doesn't speak English? Yes, he does. He does. Everybody
Yes,
speaks
we speak
English.
All right.
So what do you want to know?
I will make a small introduction about you and ask you a question, and then we go.
Recording in progress.
Hola, hoy estamos aquí, lógicamente, con The Voice of the Silence, el proyecto de Samantha, Diario Judío, con Verónica Sabac, un gusto, pero hoy la invitada especial es la abuela heavy metal, la abuela rockera, que no nada más es abuela, es sobreviviente del Holocausto, espía durante la Segunda Guerra Mundial e infinidad de historias, y de eso queremos conocer un poquito. Inga, bienvenida, gusto tenerte. Inga, we will make this interview in English to be easier for you, yes? And we will start with a small question. Tell us a little bit about your life. In some minutes, just a little bit about you.
First of all, you have to explain that heavy metal is not a metal worker or a goldsmith, or heavy metal is a music form. So
right.
not everybody knows that.
She sings heavy metal, rock, and everything.
And heavy metal, I chose heavy metal because I cannot sing.
You sing marvelous. You sing. You cannot sing. I hear you, and we have some videos about you, and you sing incredible. But tell me, why you started to sing? Why you decided after some years to become a singer or a part of a band of heavy metal?
What made me do it?
Yes. Yes.
Boredom. I was bored. You know, when you're being old, the people don't need you. You're forgotten. So you have to get back into the traveling and working group to be a person. Remember that when you get older, never give up work. You have to have something to give to the community.
But you are not old, Inga. You are only 99 years old. You are not old. That's just the beginning of life.
What is it? A contest of politeness? Of course I'm old. That is why you're interviewing me. If I were 20 years younger, you wouldn't find me interesting.
Sure, I will be interviewing you. You are interesting. Tell me a little bit, why you decided your songs, why these kind of songs or this kind of, you told me why heavy metal, but why the letter of these songs?
Well, this song is, I told you, the heavy metal song is because I cannot sing and I have a message. There's a message in the songs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What is the message in your songs?
I forgot my song.
No, not these songs.
No.
It's based on some history of you.
The message is don't destroy and don't make people forget you. You have always to be woven into life, like the Jews put it on. Not even the Jews. You write on a gravestone, Inri. That is connected to life.
Right. You told me that you don't want to be forgotten, but your story is also important not to be forgotten. You were in a concentration camp. You were a survivor. Can you tell us a little bit about?
I was not in a concentration camp because my mother said we're not going. My mother was really the hero. That she said we're not going to the concentration camp. Actually, my grandmother went voluntarily to the concentration camp to protect my cousins. There were 4 or 5 little cousins whose parents have already been killed. And so that they don't feel so alone, my grandmother volunteered to go there, although she knew. But she wrote us a letter before she went there to try everything to get out and to hide and to run and to pay and to give everything to just keep alive. She said you can always remake money, but you cannot remake life.
Oh,
Right.
well, I wanted to say something about your music, and I found it so interesting because normally we kind of have the idea you relate heavy metal, for example, with songs that talk about destruction and like bad stuff. But I think it's so important the message that you want to show in your music, as you said, a message of life, not destruction. And of course, knowing about this story, I know that it comes from that, from everything that you learned on that difficult years. So maybe to understand better your story, it would be good for us to, for you to tell us, for example, where were you born? Like, what happened before the war? How was your childhood, before the war, and then what happened at the war?
It's very interesting that when I was born, my grandfather settled a big amount of money for me. And he said, this child will never have to work for me. And then I was born in 22. And I think 23 or 1 or 2 years later, there was a big inflation that all the money was cut out. What was the only thing was gold, what you had in gold. All the money, paper money or whatever was on paper was worthless. And my grandmother was a very funny woman. She made the wallpaper out of it in the toilet. So there was at least one little purpose to all these very, very precious papers which you had bought for a lot of money.
And where were you born?
I was born in Vienna.
Oh.
And my father's family lived near in Niederösterreich since the 12th century. And there was the jus prime noctis, the right of the first night, that when a Jewish girl wanted to get married, she had to sleep with her owner, with monastery monks or whatever. And that is why my eyes are blue and my hair is really blonde.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The jus prime noctis, you didn't know? The right of the first night of the Jewish girls. It belonged to not to her future husband, it belonged to the hell, whoever owned them. Look it up. Jus means the right, prime noctis, the first night.
And then what happened when the war started?
My father was had a visa to Cuba, but when they came to Havana, there was a different boss, a different regierung, and they couldn't land, and they were driving around. It was the voyage of the damned. Yeah.
We don't know what happened there, but say hello to everybody there.
So what happened when the war caught you in Vienna, right?
You were telling us about
Holocaust
you couldn't land in Cuba.
my father was in Dachau, and I went to the Obernazi to ask to let him go. And he said he can go, but he must leave immediately, so he cannot tell anybody what's going on in the concentration camps. So the only place we found was Cuba, where he went. And they went there, and when they came there, they couldn't land there either, so they were traveling around from country to country. They were in front of Florida, and I was invited for a celebration. They were in front of the Villa Eden, a very famous hotel in Florida, and they didn't let them go on board. And they were very heartbreaking situations that mother and the children were on land, and the father was on the ship, or the other way around, and they couldn't even see each other. They had to shout. That is one of the Vergonia, where the shameless shame of the humankind.
And how did we end up in Dachau? How did
In
this
Dachau,
happen? Yes.
that was on the 10th of November when the and there was a housewart, and he was a son, and he said he waited 13 years that he could arrest him. And they were always friendly and nice, and we had to be nice to them, and suddenly all the masks were dropping.
But then did this cause you at all? You remember when you were
We can't
We
hear
were, yeah, of
Veronica.
course I remember.
oh, sorry. I'm just basically I'm relating the questions. So I'm asking
Veronica, we don't hear you.
explain. I'm asking. I'm sorry. Now, you
Yes.
hear me? Yes, I'm trying to relate some of your questions. So I'm just trying. 100 años tiene la persona. Oops, what happened there?
What happened?
Just to introduce you before you continue, the lady that is coming in, it's my mother. She's just become 90 years old, almost as young as you, Inga. Two beautiful girls here. She's a teacher in Holocaust history, and she's very interesting in hearing your story. So let's continue with that. Vero,
So, and is she listening to my story, or will
yes,
she read what you
now
write?
she's there listening. Madre, escuchas.
She's
Sí,
listening.
Está silenciada.
sí, ahorita le prenden.
So anyway,
Continue. No, continue,
it
Inga.
was when Hitler came, the people you were trusting most, your best friends, turned out to be Nazis all these years, and they stole from you whatever they could take, and were not your friends anymore. They were now enemies. That was a really horrible time. But there were others who were helping. There was an organization which was helping, and my mother was once befriending a Count Benedict, but she was not allowed to marry him because he was not Jewish. But apparently she called him for help, and then he organized us that we could come to Vorarlberg, to this border city, and he organized us how to go to Switzerland.
And
But
they took you and your mother.
and my brother and my fiance, my later husband, and we were taken to not a concentration, an Auffanglager. It was a
Refugee.
refugee camp. in Adliswil,
Where is that?
near Zurich,
All
near
right.
Zurich. And we had 80 centimeters straw and 80 centimeters straw and 2 blankets. And SKK, soup, cabbage, and potatoes. And
How
we
long were you
survived.
there?
20. In 42, when we came to Switzerland, I was 20. And my mother had me when she was 21, so she was a very young woman too. But my father was in England. I wrote a short story which was called 60 Millions and Six, because when the war was over, my father had a girlfriend, my mother had a boyfriend, and who was a six? I can't remember. We were 6 people who had made new lives because my mother and my father hadn't seen each other for 7 years. So of course there were new partnerships, and the good people, the good mentioned, which is euphemism for people who mix in other people's lives. Said the families must get together, but they were actually strangers. My father had left us when we were children, and my brother was a young man, and I was married, so we were total strangers. And it was a very big fiasco, all this,
Oh,
with this trying to get the people from before the war together, because we were not the same people anymore.
yes. I wanted to ask you because I kind of don't understand really. Where were you when the war, the Second War, and the Holocaust was happening? What do you remember about those years? You know, yeah, what were you doing?
When it started, you were in Austria?
When Hitler started,
Yes.
I was 16 years old. He came to Austria in 1938, and I was 16 years old. And suddenly, all my friends, if they were not, we had to leave the school, we had to leave the apartment, we had our Dienstmädel, you know what a Dienstmädel is, a muchacha, stole our villa with everything, because she didn't even let us take out our toys or our photos. You suddenly thought that you have devoted people around you and you had enemies in your house.
Wow.
And then what happened? What happened when
When
they
Hitler
came?
came,
Yes.
you were dispossessed. Everything was gone. The bank account was closed. The bank safes were closed. The car was taken by Garagnik, and we had to leave our apartment. First, we moved in with the aunt, and then the aunt and us had to move to a one room where we only had a corner. It's a wonder miracle that I'm halfway normal, halfway.
Also, and then yeah, obviously the Nazis like quit you all this, right? The right to have education, job, etc. And you said that then your dad was deported, right, to the concentration camp. How was that? How you remember that?
But that my father was in Dachau, but I did everything to get him out.
But before he went there, before, how did it happen that he got arrested?
Yeah, our house was the person who was taking care of the house arrested him. A person whom we knew all our life.
So this person was taking care of the house and arrested your father?
my father, yeah.
Wow.
It was a big house. It was, we only had an apartment there, an elegant house with a doorman
And so he arrested your father and he was taken to the house.
and he was taking, yeah. And he said he has waited 13 years for that moment that he could arrest my father. When we were considering this family as our friends.
Wow. And then he was how long?
How did he get? How did he escape from that or went out of that? Because you told me that your mother went and say it cannot be, or you cannot take them, or something. How was that? Because many
Did
people
they
went
get him
there
out
and
of
couldn't
Dachau?
do anything.
There was a man in charge of Dachau, he was called Brunner number one, because there was a Brunner two. And he's a man asked a lot of money. He said he will leave the door open, the entrance door to his office. And if I go there, he might kill me, he might sexually abuse me, or he might be in a good mood. So I went there, the door was open, and I went to this terrible Nazi person and asked for the right there. I want my father to get out of Dachau. And this man, had a good day. He didn't kill me, didn't abuse me, and he liberated my father.
But did you pay?
No,
How old were you?
I was 16.
Right.
You were
All right.
You went on your own?
How did you
I
feel
went
about
on
it?
I went on my own, yeah. And since then, I never asked anybody for help. When I have a problem, I do it myself. It was a very good school.
Right. Tell me something. During the war, also you worked for, I think, for the British, like a spy, something like that. They told me in a village there.
Americans.
Yeah,
Yes, for Brazil.
I worked for but that was much later. Whereas that was already in Switzerland.
Right.
And
You want to continue your story, or you want to tell me about that?
I have too many stories. I have
I
to
know.
answer your question.
Well,
My
maybe
whole
we
life
would
is
like to
my
know,
whole
like,
life is a whole bibliothèque.
how did well, I don't know if you answered that, but I didn't get it. Like, how did your dad go out to from the concentration camp? How did he survive?
How did
Uh,
I went to the
That's
Nazis,
what she
to the
told.
super Nazi,
Mm,
and asked for as I came in, I said, I want my father to be freed. And the man was in a good mood, and he liberated him.
wow.
But he said he must not talk about the concentration camp, and he must leave immediately. And then there
But,
was the only place we could get a visa for was Cuba.
but
Yes.
tell me
And then
something.
my father was already on the way. We couldn't go there because in the
And
meantime, Cuba had closed borders.
right.
Well, I think
And
that's a
after that,
miracle, right? Maybe the guard thought you were pretty or something, right? Like, oh, okay, I will give her that. But I think that's so an uncommon thing, right? Because yeah, which soldier was going to liberate someone just like that? So wow.
Exactly. Was you were lucky. It's very
We were,
rare.
we were lucky, but we were also courageous. We took risks. There was his friend of my mother's, is Count Benedict, who was living on the Swiss border, and his family has always made smuggling their business, coffee and sugar. And he said, if we can make it there, he will see that we get over the border. And he had some kind of agreement with the border police. But when we came there and went through the border, there was somebody else there. And we never found out why. So the guy told us run. And we had, my mother had such around her tummy where she had her jewels, and that fell into somewhere there. It's probably still there because we didn't stop to look for it. Ran for our lives.
She hid the jewelry. She hid this.
She wanted whatever she still had it. She wore around her body, but she lost it. She said, or I said, you will everything we will get for you. Let's run. And
Okay, so you left the jewelry. You left the jewelry behind.
And we even left the luggage. We had luggage, and I fell into a hole and I abgerutscht. And the guide who pulled me out, but my rucksack was gone. And I said, forget it. I don't need anything.
Yeah, you left everything behind.
Everything. We arrived in Switzerland really naked. And as we arrived in cloisters and came to Kur, immediately, maybe after half an hour or so, a man from the Jewish community came with money, with clothing.
In Switzerland, they welcome you.
The Jews, yeah.
And that was when? What year?
That was 42.
42.
42. So you already saw that the Germans are losing the war, but it still was another 4 years or 3 years till the war was over.
And then you started working for the CIA. You told me about the villa.
Yeah.
Can you tell them?
I was in Lugano, and a man approached my husband, my then fiancé, who was my husband, whether we would like to work for the CIA. And he said, yes, of course. And so in this villa, we organized 30 people to hide and to eat and to we had like a hospital with a doctor who took care of the sick people there.
It was the resistance, the Italian resistance.
We took care of the Italian resistance, yeah, the partisans.
And you have a book. Tell them about the book.
The Partisanenvilla.
Yeah.
I wrote a book about it. It's called the Villa of the Partisans, of the Partigiani. That is how we organized our life there, because officially we were only 2 people there, and in reality we had to provide for 30 people. So all the black marketeers of the whole area was coming and going and knowing us.
She was feeding 30 people, and officially there were only 2. So she had to buy all the food and everything, all the stuff on the black market.
Exactly. How was it? Because we don't know too much about the partisans. Tell us a little bit, how was their fight? How was living with them?
You have anybody who can read German? I wrote a book. It is called the Partisanenvilla. The Villa of the Partisans.
We are now here, so we don't have time now to read the book, or to people that are hearing us to read the book now. But you can tell us a little stories about that. It was scary being there. Did you were sometimes in danger?
There are 2 stories at the same time. One was the partisans fighting the Nazis in the mountains, and then our villa in Lugano, who was organizing them. There were two parallel stories, but they were connected. And we it was very interesting when when I became Swiss, a Swiss citizen. It's not allowed for Swiss that they are called a fish. It's called a fish. It's secret papers about the Swiss citizen. So when I got the citizenship, they gave me a whole heap of papers about me. And everything what we thought is streng geheimit, and we are so clever to lie to the police. Everything we did was recorded there. And one which I always quote is one gendarme, one police said he came officially because my dog had bitten somebody, another dog. And he said, and there were 8 or 10 partigiani in the villa. One was hiding under the table, and 2 were hiding behind the curtain, and 3 in the kitchen closet, and so on. So he registered exactly. But he was friendly, but also bothered. You know, he was sitting and sitting and sitting, and the people who were hiding somewhere already got cramps. Yeah, it was. But all this I have written in a book, and I think I would like somebody to translate it into English, I think.
And maybe Spanish.
Or Spanish.
Yeah,
Spanish has a huge market.
yes, that would be good.
We will look for it. We will talk with some editorials. We will be talking with you or with Inga, with Vero. Who we can talk? Who is the owner? Well, you will tell us later who is the owner of the rights of this book.
The author rights. I guess you have the author rights, right?
What?
The rights.
I have all the rights from the book.
Right. Vero, we have something to do after all of this to be speaking more with Inge. Inge, tell me something. When you were working like with the partisans, you were a spy. Am I correct in that?
Well,
giving information for all of that.
A partisan is not really a spy. A partisan is a patriot. Yes. It sounds much better. And it's the same thing.
So you were a partisan, a patriot, all right?
And a patriot of which country?
Tell us a story about. You remember a story when you were there? Something that happened there that you were that happens there in that part of your life.
Something in particular? Do you remember something in particular that you would like to talk about?
Not so fast. I don't remember anything. I remember everything, but I have to think what I want to say and not to say, what I want to sell and what I don't want to sell. You know, I'm approached a lot of times now about my memories.
Yes. So, well, maybe you can tell us why are you like named as a spy? What was your job like a spy? What did you do?
Well, first of all, I had my daughter just reminded me. I had a dog, a police dog, who never left me because I was alone with 30 hungry young men, and I didn't want to be
abused
or used. So I had this dog who never left me, but he was trained to run away and only come back on a certain whistle. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, he was helping. So when we had a transport coming in, when we had Partigiani coming in, the dog was running away, and I was running after him, and the police guards who were all of 18 years old, and the military dienst were running after me to catch the dog. So the border was open and everybody could come in and out. It was a very well organized, and the dog was a big part of it because he was so well trained.
So your main job
Pero más al centro para que se te oiga.
Okay, so your main job was mainly to protect these 30 people, right? These all partigiani. That was your main job.
They were not staying. They came, and then they were distributed, or they went to their different persons. But our villa was known to as a first stop.
So this villa was the first stop for the partigiani.
But it was a partisan, and first of all, when somebody was sick or injured or needed other help, he came to us.
I see. So you were giving care of to these partigianis.
Yeah.
Did the Nazis sometime got to this village?
What was?
Did the Nazis get to the villa anytime? Yes. Did they check this villa?
They knew about it because the villa belonged to two sisters. One worked with us, and the other worked with the Nazis.
Oh.
Because the two sisters were. Dora was the one who worked with the Nazis in the same villa.
So they knew about it.
Of course, they knew about it.
So they knew.
Why didn't they come and destroy it? I don't know. Why didn't come here?
Once you were in Switzerland, you stopped fighting. Everybody was out to have a better life, to eat and to heal, and if possible, call the family, save the family.
So everybody was closing an eye, basically, right?
Everybody.
I see, because everybody was hoping for a better life.
Yeah. Well, they had a better life in Switzerland, of course. And I told you when I became a Swiss, I got all the papers. That they knew exactly about every single step we took.
And still they gave you the nationality.
No te oímos, Vero.
And still they gave you the Swiss nationality, despite they knew everything you did during the war.
Well, by that time, we became very famous composers. My husband was a composer, I was writing the lyrics, and we were working with the biggest, that was at that time Lis Assia and Vico Toriani and
Nat King Cole, yes, I think so. I think you wrote also later for Nat King Cole, also on Broadway and everything, no?
Nat King Cole.
Nat King Cole, we worked together, yeah. And the old people that are forgotten now, and but at that time were big stars.
Wow, so you started to write these songs in the war, right?
When did you start writing songs? During the war or after?
Since I was 3 years old.
Oh, wow. But with your husband?
I never stopped till today.
Wow. And do you think that music was something that maybe helped you to go through the difficult times of the war?
Did music help you to get through this?
Of course. And right anyway. Not only through helping me, but providing it, That is why we got a citizenship, because we were famous composers, and we always said how grateful we are to Switzerland because they saved our lives.
And so we are here right now in Switzerland. We are in Zurich. This is where we met.
Wow. So in
and
that time,
you're interviewing me, and I don't now tell her why you interview me.
in that time, which kind of music?
Whatever you want.
In that time, which kind of music do you compose? Like, why were you famous? What kind of music? Yeah, you were composing.
What kind of music make you famous? What kind of music did you write then?
Well, we wrote pop music. We had a contract with a publisher for 10 songs a month. So you can't be very art minded. Our most famous was Try Again. If at first she says no, try again. It was in German, was it? We said in German. We had a few big songs, but at that time they go with performer. Lisasia sang them and Vico Toriani, they were the big stars then. And whenever they could, they were singing it because we were sharing the income. You had what is probably still today, anybody who is performing gets a big part of the income. Otherwise, he doesn't perform.
I understand. Maybe you want some final
Inge,
I would do it all over again.
yes,
I
sure.
loved every minute of it.
Nice. It was
Inge,
nice.
but tell me something. You were writing, you were famous, you were working with the most important singers in that time. But suddenly you and your husband, I think, decided that it was boring, that you needed something new. Am I
What is
correct?
he asking?
Why did you think it was boring? Because at a certain point you gave up. You went, you stopped doing this, right?
Well, probably I can't remember why I stopped it. I really can't remember that.
All right.
Probably it's written in my book.
All
I should
right.
really read
What
it
did you
again.
do after that? You were bored.
I was, I
You
was,
were in
I
LA
was,
and you changed to another
I
place.
worked for the Weltwoche for about 20 years. I had a whole page or at least half a page every week as a journalist.
As a journalist.
The
Work
journalist, as a journalist for the Weltwoche and for the Israeli newspaper also.
which is
All right.
newspaper.
What did you
Israel
write
Nach-
about?
There was Israel Nachrichten. There was a German newspaper in Israel, which was called Israel Nachrichten.
You understood that? She worked
No se te oye, Vero, acuérdate.
She worked for a German newspaper in Israel.
Israel.
Yeah.
But you were living in, were you living in Israel?
Everything that's interesting in that week.
Did you live in Israel?
I lived in Israel, yeah.
For how long?
I never left it.
How long did you live in Israel?
The life in Israel is wonderful. There's a wonderful climate. You can be in the morning. You can go to university. Lunch you can have on the sea and swim. In the afternoon you can have a concert. It's a very rich life.
What you, Vero, ¿en qué año estuvo en Israel? What
Many
years were you
years.
Te voy a preguntar, ¿de qué año a qué año?
No,
What years?
I don't remember.
But you were almost there when Israel was born. How was
No,
it?
I was afterwards. I came there in 58. Now I
58.
remember when it was for the 10th anniversary, and then I never left, actually. I have my apartment there, and
She still have
an apartment there.
So she would like to go back anytime
Yeah,
soon.
anytime.
Okay.
It's a wonderful life, not as a Jew, but as a tourist, because it's a wonderful restaurants all right on the beach and nightclubs and
Shall I ask you for the last question?
Why not as a Jew?
Why not as a Jew? Why not as a Jew?
why not as a Jew? Because it's not a very Jewish country. Most people are
Really?
yeah. Well, the Jews
Israel
live
is
in
not a Jewish country?
the Jew, it's they have the Orthodox people live totally segregated, and the others live. The biggest parties on Friday night, and the biggest beach day is Saturday. So it's not for an Orthodox Jew. It's a big disappointment. But for all the other people, Jew or not Jew, it's a wonderful country.
Tell me something. Why did you leave Israel? You were all there, and suddenly,
And I never left it.
all right.
Easy in her heart.
Israel is in her heart. In her heart.
I know. Inge,
Because I can't stand the summer heat. In summer, it's very hot, and I can't stand the heat.
For sure, Switzerland is not.
Inge, but you survived Second World War, and you were in Israel during some wars. How did you feel again when you were in Israel and having wars there and having so many people attacking Israel?
Did you witness any wars in Israel?
We were always evacuated, but I and Marion is still Swiss. We were always Swiss, and we had to leave before any war.
You were leaving
Every
time you saw
we had to go to without luggage and without my car and whatever you had to leave everything and go back to Switzerland.
the Swiss used to evacuate.
No se te oye, Vero.
Los suizos evacuaban a sus ciudadanos inmediatamente antes de cualquier problema o cualquier guerra.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Where did you live in Israel?
What?
Where did you live in Israel?
Where do you think?
Tel Aviv.
What?
Tel Aviv.
No, in Tel Aviv, of course.
Okay.
But Herzliya is only 10 minutes away.
Exactly. Isaac, we're going to take a last question, if you don't mind.
Yes.
You
Bueno,
have
two
the
more
last-
questions. One from Samantha and one from me. But first, I want to know about your experience in Switzerland's Got Talent, and then going to United States.
Switzerland Got Talent, the competition.
You were already 76 years,
Ah.
80 years old there.
Switzerland's Got Talent. I can't remember, really. I know I won it.
Well, that's the important thing.
She won at the Switzerland Got Talent.
She went to United States Got Talent also, ¿verdad, Verónica?
Sí, correcto. And the American Got Talent, do you remember?
I didn't want to be involved there.
But then you went.
I'm not for a competition.
But you sang. I remember you sang there.
I did.
Yes. You forgot the words, though.
But you were in there like 80. I don't know how old were you, but you were already 80 years old, something there, and got and won Switzerland Got Talent and being in the United States.
I'm born in 1922.
So she was 92.
Pero acuérdate.
She was 93, I think, when she went to Switzerland Got Talent.
Wow.
93, and you were winning America, Switzerland Got Talent, so it's incredible.
94. Sorry, 94 when she won
Sorry, yes.
Switzerland.
Wow. Well, I think
And
my
it's
no, go ahead.
it's very healthy to be active and be surrounded by young people. I wouldn't like to be. I live in an old age home, but I don't have any connections there. I like to be with. I don't remember.
It's fine, better.
Yes, I think my last
Yes.
question will be
Last question.
yeah.
Last
My last question
question,
for
yeah.
you, it will be what message or what do you want to say to my young generation, you know? Because you have been through a lot of difficult things in your life, but what would you like to tell us? Like an advice.
First of all, don't give up. Don't listen to other people, what they say. Nobody has your best interest in life but yourself. And if you want to sell something, you must have a good product. So if you don't have a good product, like a good song or a good story or a good interview, like this one you are making now, you have nothing to sell. So what else do you want to know?
No, thank you so much. I think it's so important that what you say, right? That we should not like listen to other people in the way of if they are saying something that I don't know, maybe it's discouraging us. And well, I think the best advice that you are telling us, it's your own experience, right? To see you like this, so happy, so active, and telling us all this story inspires us, right? Older generations we are here, and also my generation that maybe it's going to listen your story in this video we're recording.
I have another message to give to young people. Laugh and the world laughs with you. Cry and you cry alone. Don't tell anybody about your problems. Nobody wants to hear them unless they can help you. And don't ask any misericordia. How do you say?
Charity.
Charity. Don't ask for anything. Whatever you want, take. That's another advice. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so
We will be
much.
in touch. We will be trying in touch with you, with Vero, also to try to translate your book to Spanish or to English.
Yes,
to
That
see
would be
about it.
lovely. That would be great.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Isaac, for that. And Sam, also for your time and your adorable mom that I can see here on the screen. So thank you for this.
No.
Your mom?
I
Yes,
want to
yes.
know, sorry, just before we finish, I don't know if my mom wants to say something. Madre, ¿quieres decir alguna cosita, decirle algo? Digo, son correligionarias, una 99, una 90 años y con mucha vida por delante. You have many life in front of you, both of you. Something you want to say to her or to ask her, Maya?
I just want to tell her it's very interesting, everything she told us. I really, really admire what she said and the life she had. I hope I will have the opportunity to tell the people that hear my lesson every Friday. I will tell them to see this interview because it's very, very interesting. And I hope you, my son, will be there tomorrow and tell them to hear, to see that years have not importance, that the important thing is what you have here, what you remember, and to tell the people about your life. It's wonderful. Thank you very, very much for everything you told us.
You have beautiful blue eyes. Look in the camera boards. I want to see them.
I have blue eyes.
Coming from
Very,
many
very happy to see somebody our age to remember so good, so well, everything that happened. Thank you very much. Really.
Yes, thank you,
so much.
Veronica and Igna, for this interview. As Isaac told you, I am 20 years old. I'm doing this project.
20.
Yes,
it's a
of
project.
interviewing Holocaust survivors or people related to the World War II. My great grandfather and his family was from Poland, was Jewish. Most of them were killed at the Holocaust, so that's why I'm doing this, because I want to be like their voices. And thank you so much. I think it's so important to pass on these stories to the young generations. And to finish this, I would like to take a photo of us so we can
Yes,
remember this
sure.
moment.
Sure.
Second.
Okay, I will take the photo. So maybe.
Everybody, madre, ve de frente a la cámara.
¿Qué?
Voltea un poco tú. Ahí estás, ahí estás.
Allí, allí,
estás.
allí.
Beautiful
Okay.
lady.
1, 2, 3. Isaac, voltea.
What is she, your grandmother?
Ah.
Is she her
No,
grandmother?
she's the mother of Isaac. Is Isaac's mother.
Okay.
And she studies, she teaches, right? Holocaust story, is that? Or
Jewish
how?
history, Yiddish. She has been a teacher for Yiddish for more than 70 years.
She teaches Yiddish.
Who wants to learn Yiddish?
Right? She's asking who wants to learn Yiddish.
Many people wants to hear about Jewish history. So she works also with a group of older people, let's say, with adults. Every Friday she gives a lesson when she talks about what is happening around the world with these people, and she's very active with that. She has been, I don't know, many things there, working in Jewish schools for all her life, teaching
she's
good
very
about
active.
her sons.
Very good.
Bueno, muchísimas gracias. Os vamos a saludar en español porque Inge habla español.
Yo hablo
Claro.
Bueno. You can say something in Spanish to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Bueno. Adiós.
Adiós.
Hasta muy pronto.
Muchas
Adiós
gracias.
y pronto. Y Vero, estemos en contacto para lo de su libro. Creo que vale la pena y más de una persona va a estar interesado en saber toda la historia del libro.
Yo la primera.
Muchas gracias. Pues bueno, hasta muy prontito y hablamos, ¿vale?
Claro,
Que la
muchas
voy a
gracias.
dejar a descansar un poco.
Que tengan buena tarde.
Muchas gracias. Adiós, adiós.
Adiós.
¿Tú conoces eso? Amor, dinero es salud.
Claro, amor.
Ya se fueron.
Gracias, madre. Ya.
¿Estuvo bien?
Muy bien. ¿Qué te
Recording
pareció,
stopped.
Samantha?
¿Cómo se llama la persona que entrevistaste?
Inge Inge Ginsberg.
No, pues sí.
Inge
Ginsberg, perdón.
Greenberg.
Ginsberg.
Ginsberg.
Y
O sea,
Verónica Zaguev.
Sí se me hizo súper interesante, ¿no? Pero, o sea, obviamente se entiende, ¿no? Que como ella misma lo dice, ¿no? Obviamente le preguntas a veces algo y no se acuerda o así, pero pues es que su edad, o sea, la verdad es admirable todo lo que nos
No,
contó,
se acuerda
¿no?
de todo Samantha, y te contestó, si te cuento, no lees mi libro, o sea, quiero dejártelo. Muy lúcida.
Sí,
Mañana.
pero es como de que, ok, pero ¿cómo lo voy a leer si no sé alemán?
Sí, bueno, por eso tradúcelo.
Sí,
¿De qué
sí, sí.
nacionalidad es ella? Que no lo oí desde el principio.
Nació en Viena.
Ajá.
Sí, ¿verdad? Nos dijo.
sí, de Austria.
Ajá.
Sí, mira,
Mañana voy a querer que intervengas, Isaac, y recomiendes este.
Invita a Samantha mejor, madre.
Si Samantha quiere,
sí, pues a ver si me meto un rato mañana a las 12, ¿verdad?
pide la palabra y cuando oigas que estoy recomendando esto, di
Ok.
quién es ella y que no digas todo lo que dijo.
Sí. Ahora.